It's that time of the week again where we have the latest spoilers and leaks for the all-new episode of Bleach. Bleach 1000 Year Blood War episode 34, titled Baby Hold Your Hand, is going to be adapting quite a bit of manga material. Since we've had several episodes with lots of anime exclusive editions, it seems like episode 34 is going to be entirely filled with manga content. So for this reason, we have a pretty rough idea of how this episode is going to be paced from beginning to end. Now be sure to stick around until the very end of the video, as we know the staff who are working on the episode, and lastly we even have the title of episode 35 which has been revealed. So without further delay, let's dive into the spoilers and leaks for the latest episode of Bleach. We got really tired of the same old boring anime shirts, so we decided to launch Getsuga.com with the aim of creating designs inspired by our favorite anime and manga. We came up with designs that look cool and represent all of our favorite stories. Check out the latest Instinct collection, which features some amazing designs like this Frosted Heavens design inspired by Toshiro Hitsugaya, or this Instinct design inspired by Holo Ichigo, and my personal favorite, which is the Heart design, which was inspired by Ukiura Shifa. Do not miss out, go to Getsuga.com and wear your favorite stories. So let's go over the details released on the official Bleach anime website, and the story synopsis which they have posted states that Kenpachi Zaraki and Mayuri Kurotsuchi advance towards Varaveld, but their path is blocked by Pernida. Pernida, who harbors a very mysterious ability, becomes a powerful opponent for them to face. Kenpachi attempts to take down the enemy head-on by using brute force, but even his Zanpakuto fails to land a decisive blow against Pernida. This leaves Kenpachi to face Pernida's Shrift ability directly. Now meanwhile, Mayuri is calmly and precisely watching Kenpachi's clash with Pernida, as Mayuri becomes overwhelmed with joy the more that he sees Pernida. Now quite notably, on the staff list for this episode we have Atsushi Wakabayashi. Now this is a veteran animator who has worked on series like Yu Yu Hakusho and Naruto, and they'd even storyboarded several episodes of the 2004 Bleach anime. Now Atsushi Wakabayashi has previously worked on the 1000 Year Blood War arc anime. In Core 2 he had storyboarded episodes 18 and 23, and he was the action animation director for episode 18. Now episode 18 was of course Renji's battle against Mask D Masculine. Now in Core 3, Atsushi Wakabayashi returns as a storyboarder for episode 34. Now as always, the Bleach anime website has also released these 5 preview images of episode 34. The first image is of Mayuri here with this overjoyed expression on his face. The second image features Pernida with his cloak still on with his eyes glowing. This must be when he first encounters Mayuri and Kenpachi. The third preview image is of Kenpachi smiling. This is probably before he attacks Pernida. The fourth image here is of Nemu, who is most likely just observing Pernida fight. And the fifth image is of Yumichika and Ikaku, who have this very concerned expression on their face. And this is probably after Kenpachi's attack fails to connect with Pernida, and after Pernida uses his Shrift ability against Kenpachi. Okay, now we're going into the leaks that have been revealed for this episode. So episode 34 is not going to be adapting the entirety of the Mayuri and Nemu versus Pernida fight, because there were a few people who were concerned that all of the Pernida fight was going to be adapted into one episode, which honestly would have been insane in terms of pacing, because their fight actually begins in chapter 635 and it ends in 644, so it's just over 9 chapters worth of material. But it's been revealed that episode 34 is going to be adapting manga material from chapter 635 all the way up until 640, and accounting for all of the stuff that has been rearranged and has already been adapted into existing episodes, it's roughly 4.5 chapters worth of manga content adapted into this week's episode. So of course chapter 635 sees Mayuri and Kenpachi encountering Pernida, and then Kenpachi of course tries to strike Pernida, but then Pernida uses the compulsory to twist Kenpachi's right arm. Following this, Kenpachi's right arm continues to twist on its own as he rips it off. Mayuri does suggest to Kenpachi to stay away from Pernida, but Kenpachi doesn't heed his warning as he rushes in once again to strike the Sternritter, but then both of Kenpachi's legs are twisted with Pernida's ability to compulsory before Mayuri has to step in and paralyze Kenpachi to take him out of the fight. And so from chapter 636, Mayuri's battle against Pernida truly begins, as Mayuri quickly deduces that Pernida's abilities are linked to the nerves that he releases from his body. Mayuri is intrigued by Pernida's Shrift ability to compulsory, as he states that he's going to take his time and enjoy battling against him, as he has several drugs that he would like to test on Pernida's nervous system. In chapter 637, which is going to be adapted in this week's episode, Pernida actually does reveal its true form, which Mayuri immediately recognizes as being the left arm of the Soul King. There's quite a lot of crazy stuff that's going to be adapted. Over on his fan club, Club Outside, Kubo did comment upon the recording session for episode 34, where he had stated that recording the strange umbrella and this human-faced string here was incredibly fun. So Mayuri is confused as to why the left arm of the Soul King is serving Yhwach, and you could tell that there's going to be some incredible voice acting in this episode as Pernida begins to slowly form words and start to speak, much to Mayuri's surprise. This episode also features Mayuri utilizing Hairen Hyaku to escape from Pernida's nerves, which he has released across the ground. Also, Mayuri blows off one of Pernida's fingers here as it tries to take over Mayuri's body, but Mayuri immediately responds as he restructured the arrangement of the nerves, blood vessels and muscles within his hand, as he refuses to allow himself to be controlled by Pernida. Now, as the battle continues, we do get this very brief flashback scene here where Mayuri reveals that he had studied that the right arm of the Soul King Mimihagi governs over stillness, while the left arm of the Soul King Pernida governs over progress or advancement. With two of Pernida's fingers severed, he now creates two copies of itself from the severed fingers, as Mayuri is now up against three versions of Pernida. Now, this leads to Mayuri activating his Bankai, but it is a modified version called Matai Fukuin Shotai, as Mayuri's Bankai devours Pernida whole, and the episode appears to end with this shot of Mayuri here laughing uncontrollably after Pernida has been consumed. So what's really interesting is that episode 35 is titled Don't Chase a Shadow, which is named after chapter 645. So it seems like we're going to be taking a break from Mayuri versus Pernida, which still has content from chapter 640 to 644, which needs to be adapted, as we cut instead to Shunsui versus Lil Barrow. Now, I was predicting that Shunsui versus Lil Barrow would be happening at the end of Core 3, but it seems like everything has been rearranged and they are now saving Hashward versus Baz B for the finale of Core 3. So coming back to episode 34, the leaks state that the fight is similar to how it was depicted within the manga, but it's just more crazier within the anime, and the leaks have said that it's probably the most craziest episode ever in regards to the voice acting of Pernida and Mayuri. It's also been revealed that Pernida is going to be in CGI but not in all of its scenes, and it seems like Mayuri's modified Bankai is not going to be CGI. Now, Lil Toto and Giselle's brief battle against Yhwach from the beginning of chapter 635 has not been adapted into this week's episode. This was content that was notably cut from last week's episode, so I do think that they're saving this content to be shown before Hashward versus Baz B, to fit into the story of the betrayed Sternritter battling against Yhwach and the Schutzstaffel. So yeah, the episode ends with Mayuri laughing in a crazy way after his modified Bankai eats Pernida, and this is the only part of chapter 640 which is adapted. Then yeah, the preview of the episode features a poem by Shunsui with the title Don't Chase a Shadow for episode 35. So it seems like we're in for a very manga faithful episode with episode 34. I am really looking forward to seeing Kimpachi briefly clash against Pernida, as well as the MVP of the 1000-year Blood War arc, Mayuri, finally getting his big moment to shine as he fights against the left arm of the Soul King. So for now, this is absolutely everything that I have for the leaks and spoilers of Bleach 1000-year Blood War episode 34. Let me know all of your thoughts for this upcoming episode of Bleach. Are you excited to see Pernida finally fight against the Shinigami? Are you looking forward to seeing Mayuri's modified Bankai? And are you excited to hear the amazing voice acting which has been teased for Pernida and Mayuri? I'd love to know all of your thoughts for this upcoming latest episode of Bleach releasing on Saturday. Do subscribe to the channel and stick around for my review and manga versus anime analysis, which I'll be releasing over on the weekend. Lastly, thank you for making it to the end of this spoilers and leaks video, and I cannot wait to see you in my next Bleach video. A massive thank you goes out to all of my amazing Patreon supporters for helping to make this video possible. If you also want to support the channel and see your name in the end of my videos, then check out my Patreon, which has loads of perks like early video access and so much more. Thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.